I'm a bit confused about this one. What am I going to do? How am I going to get... how am I going to get this sorted out? I don't even know what it is. It's a Console X 64GB version, and the seller states it's faulty. There is no response from the gamepads trying to launch a game. But I can exit out of a game and change settings. I think it's a Duff SD card. But further down, at the bottom here, it says, this is sold as parts, as even though there is a signal, there is not display or sound. But at the top, he says he's been changing games. Are you confused? I am. And I paid £12.99, and that's it there. So let's get it open and find out what's wrong with it. I must admit, I've got to give the seller 10 out of 10 for packaging. Super Console X smoothly runs 80 plus emulators. SD card, question mark. I'll decide. So we've got a couple of controllers, which are both... Why are both controllers rattling around? Ah, that's why. There's a little wireless dongle in there. I thought they were broken. So we've got a USB 2 hub, a power supply, 12 volts, 1 amp, and this little gadget. I'm not going to use the supplied HDMI because I've got a known good one here. The HDMI port is nice. There's an SD card in there. There's a little sticker on the SD card slot. I wonder what that's about. We'll see if we can plug it in and get a picture. I'll use this cheap video capture card. Just out of curiosity, I'll test the power. 12.22 volts. That's good. So we'll plug that in there. Where's it go? In there. Switch it on. No light. I thought there was a light. Now Steve has got the Pro version of this and it had a faulty HDMI port. I thought he had a light on it. Right, now this is interesting. When I switch this on, my camera goes haywire. So I'm going to switch this back on and I'm going to see if my recording camera goes faulty. Yes, it does. That is flashing around. Am I still recording? I'm still recording, but I've gone off. So I'll switch that back off and I'll deactivate my camera and activate it again, and now I'm back. So there's either this could be really cheap or this could be faulty. I suspect this is really cheap. Let's have a think. There's something wrong with the power. Can I power this with my bench power supply instead? Right, we'll try this. This fits, but I've got this down as, this is for a Mega Drive 1 and it's center negative. So I'll have to make sure I get that the right way around. Right, so this is center negative, so I need to swap these leads over and output 12 volts and see what happens. Right, 11.93. We'll plug this in and we'll turn on the power supply. You cannot see it, but there's a tiny little green LED in there, and it's drawing 230, 240 milliamps. So we'll switch that back off, and we'll see if we can get a picture through the AV capture card. No, doesn't seem to be doing anything. I think I'll have to plug this into a external monitor just to be sure. Now I've got AV here, which I think I can try. There's 2 seconds. I bought a mini NES clone a while ago for a video because the seller said it was faulty, but it turned up and it actually worked, but it didn't come with a video lead. So I had this one, which is a jack like that, which goes to the phono leads, the phono connectors, and I'm wondering if that will fit in there, and it does. So now I can try this little gadget, plug that into there and switch on again, bring up AV and see if that does anything. I'm wondering if the seller's been messing around with the SD card. Right, I haven't plugged the power supply in for this, so we'll plug that in, we'll try again. I'm not sure if I'll get a picture. If the SD card's not running, would I still get some kind of splash screen? I don't know. But it doesn't look like anything's happening with this at the moment. Plan B is to plug that into the computer and see if it's got anything on. Right, well that's popped up. When I've plugged it in, I never have much faith in these scanning things. Right, let's try that. I'll go back to HDMI. Let's bring up AV. Still nothing. No. Let's switch that off. I wonder why it sent me camera into a frenzy. Let's open it up. There's only 4 screws. I'll just see what's on the SD card first. Yeah, I'm still getting a problem with the drive here. Continue without scanning. So this is what's on the drive. Lost date, ROMs and system recovery. So that looks like all the ROMs for the games. Oh, I see it's formatted between G and F. I don't know whether to concentrate on the SD card or open it up first and see if there's a problem inside. I think I'll open it up first because the seller hasn't said anything about doing anything with the SD card. So that's what we'll do. Let's put that underneath the scope. Right, well I can't see any faulty components. Nothing stands out. That must be the fuse. Fuse is okay. RAM presumably. I think that's the Realtek logo. 1.5 volt. I wonder if I can plug that in and probe around here to see if I get 1.5 volts. I've got my green LED. There's a red one too, which I didn't notice when it was inside the case. But I just wanted to check around here, see if I was missing a voltage. That's 1.5 volts. I've got 11 volts down here, and at the top here I've got 1.5 on my multimeter. So it is dropping down to 1.5 volts. I've got 5 volts on that cap. I'm assuming the main CPU is under here. That is getting warm, just warm, not hot. Have I got voltage on here? Yeah, 1 volt. I imagine that is for that. 1.5 volts for the memory perhaps. So it seems to have voltage. Yeah, 5 volts, which is here, 5 volts. And down here it says 3.3 volts. And I've got 3.25. I'm happy that the power supplies on the board are working properly. So without any damage being seen, I'm going to go back to the idea that it could be software in that SD card. Now I do have another SD card kicking about. I might be able to load the software back up onto there. So I'll stop the video and I'll do some research.
This DTB file lets emulators know what hardware your box is running. If it's incorrect, it won't boot.
Now the YouTube video I've just watched talking about this file that you need to copy and paste, if I go into G system recovery files, I've got Super Console X Pro System Recovery. I'm wondering if this is the wrong MULX software for this machine, and that's why it's not booting.
So in device trees, we need to select GXB.
So I'm going to go for this one, and that's got the Realtek Wi-Fi. I'm going to go for this one, see if this one's available. Right, we'll do that. We'll go for that. 200, 1 gigabyte, Realtek Wi-Fi, that one. 100M, that's it there. So we'll copy that one and I'll put that one on my desktop. All I'm doing is replacing this old DTB file with this new one, which is supposed to be for this system. I haven't flashed anything or updated any firmware or anything like that. Right, so I've made a copy of the ROMs just in case something goes wrong. And like I say, all I've done is I've changed the configuration file for the hardware in here. I don't think this will work, but it's worth a shot before doing anything else. Green light here. Let's just see if this boots up. Doesn't seem to be doing anything, does it? I'll say that's a no-go. Right, I think I'll flash it, reflash it, try again. Right, as you can see, flash has failed. I've tried to use balloon etcher to flash that card and it's failed for some reason. So I'm going to dig out a replacement card. Right, so I've tried the new card and the flash has failed again, and I don't know why. Let's try this one more time. Flash from file. That's the one. Select target, SD card, 32 gig. Flash. Flash failed. Something went wrong. Alright, let's try this again. I've been into the disk management and I've created a new partition. I've done it in FAT32. I'm not sure if it's right, but we'll give it a shot. Why won't it tell us? Keep trying, keep trying. Okay, so I've formatted the SD card as NTFS. So I'm going to try this again. And if this doesn't work, I'll download the Rufus program. Nope, still not working. But why? Why? Flashing 5%. Flash another. I don't think so. Let's try something different. Right, let's try Rufus. Device, no label. That's right. Create a bootable disk. I think I've got to extract. Right, let's try Rufus here. Now it says write an image, so that's better. I wonder if Windows 11 is preventing the etcher program to write to an SD card. Okay, so now it looks like it's actually on. MULX. It doesn't create the extra drive, the G drive, until you plug it back into the system, apparently. So I need to put on this file, so I will copy that, put that in here, and I need to rename it dtb.img. Right, now let's try that. That goes in there, power on, switch on, still nothing. Let's see if it boots up. I wonder if it's a problem with my HDMI capture card. Deactivate it and activate it again. Still the same. I wonder if I should plug it into a TV. I wonder if it's altered this SD card. I'll give it a couple of minutes. Right, I'm going to turn that off. I'm going to plug the SD card back into the computer, and it doesn't look like it has. So what I'll do is I'll delete that DTB and I'll put on the original one and we'll try that. Now look what I got on HDMI on a television. It's flashing up something and then it's going off. So I'm getting something. I wonder if I should try the old card. This is the original card that came with it. We'll see what that does. Aha. It's actually working. What's something at least? I don't know what it is, but it's why would that not work on my my capture card? What on earth's that? I wonder if I can plug a mouse into there. I'm feeling a bit silly for not trying this first. So I'm going to plug in a wired mouse into one of these USBs. So a wired mouse does work. So what's this? No idea. It's all in Chinese. Options, settings, language. One of these must be language, surely. Language? Is that the speech? Speech bubble thing here? Oh, hang on. It only has 2 languages. It might be Mandarin and Cantonese, perhaps? That's no good. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? How am I going to get... how am I going to get this sorted out? I don't even know what it is. That picture is coming from here, so it is working. It's just got the wrong software on. So I just need to find some software that's going to run on this. Got some instructions, but none of it looks like what I'm seeing on the screen. So that's totally different. We'll click on something to see what happens. Right, here we go. Android 4.4.2. It's hard to say that, I know. Hoolay mod for AM Logic S905 family. And that's about as much as I can find. I formatted this 32 gig card with emulate 3.9 and I've left the default DTB tag or whatever it is. So this has got 3.9 on and it's unchanged. I've just left it as it is. So it's booting up. Hoolay mod. So this is 3.9 from GitHub, I think, and it's exactly the same. So where's the option for the games? Is it in Chinese? Oh, yes it is. Yep, exactly the same. So what do I need to do to get this booting into the games? I know there's no games on here. What am I missing? No idea. Keep looking. I think the card's not working, and I think that's a default boot up. So I'll switch this off. I'll plug this out. So no card, and switch on again. Yeah. That's built into that. I'm sure I need that DTB file on here. So the cards aren't working. That's default Android, Chinese Android, Chandroid. Let's try this. I've got a different DTB file on here. Switch it off, switch it back on. Well, it's not jumping into Mr. Hoolay, right? It's not doing anything. Just give it a second. This is a different DTB file, a Realtek Wi-Fi one, because it's got Realtek Wi-Fi. Try this. I'm sure I was just getting the right DTB file on here. I wonder if there's any alternative software I could try. This is where I'm at with this thing. I've downloaded version 3.9 of the Elec software. So I've printed off a list of the files in the device tree folder, and this lists all the DTB files. I started loading the Realtek versions because I think this is a Realtek Wi-Fi card. None of these Realtek ones actually worked. Realtek Wi-Fi, they didn't work. Then I went on Reddit, and someone on Reddit said these machines have 1 GB of memory. So I started checking the DTB files that had 1G next to them, and I checked a couple of them and they didn't work, until I came across this one, the GXM Q200 1G.DTB, and this one actually got the machine to boot. So I'll show you that. That's not going to focus, but it does say press any key or power off your machine. File system corrupt. To prevent an automatic repair attempt continuing, press any key or power off. So it's running through some tests here, repairing file system. I have actually had the emulate logo come up on the screen here, but it's going to check that file system, and it's going to tell us that the data is corrupt. So I think I'm just getting lucky by picking this GXM Q200. So I'm going to stick with this one. I'm going to try a different SD card in now. The seller did say he thinks this SD card might be corrupt. So it might be. So I'm going to try a different one, because this is the one that came with the machine. So we'll switch this off, and I'll install 3.9 plus the same DTB file, and we'll take it from there. This is the new card with the same software and the same DTB file. Let's see what that brings up. There you go, emulate, and it's resizing partition up here. Checking file system done, resizing file system done, rebooting in 15 seconds. So I'll cross my fingers. Right, this is where It got stuck the last time just there. This is where it gets stuck. It says starting unbind frame buffer console. Freezes there. So I'm closer. So I think I'm on the right path. I think the console's working. I think the SD card reader slot on the machine's working. So I'm nearly there. I don't know if the problem is this is perhaps the wrong one and I should try a different Q200, or should I stick to the GXM? There's a 3G version there. There's a Q201 there. GXM 201 2G 1 gigabit. I think I'll go through these GXM and see if I can get past that. But because that's stuck there, I think I'll have to reflash the emulate 3.9 onto the and just keep swapping cards over until we get past this point on the boot up. But that certainly gives us the incentive to carry on with this. So I will pause the video and we'll come back when I've gotten a bit further ahead. Right, this is GXM Q201 1 gig or 1G. Found something. Rebooting in 15 seconds. It's stuck on unbind again here. That one is across. We'll try another one. Right, this one is the GXM kvim2.dtb. So it definitely seems to like the GXM version. Unhandled fault, synchronous external abort at, and then I think that's a memory reference. Oh, we're going again. Paused there. There's no error or anything at the moment. It seems to be stuck. Right, I'll try a different one. I'll not record every one that I try, only if something different happens. I've exhausted all the GXM variants and none of them work. The one I've got circled here and here, and I've got one on this page, they half worked. I did get it to boot up into the emulate, but it didn't finish the boot up sequence. Possible that this version of emulate 3.9 doesn't have the correct DTB file for this console, because I don't know when this console was made, but I'm not giving up. I'll just have to try a couple of random ones and see if I can come up with something. Right, I've got it booting up. I might have clicked record a bit too quickly, but this is on GXL P212 1G NAND and it's doing something. Yeah, look, and we've got audio. That's fantastic. I'm over the moon. Loading. I better make a note. That was this one. Mind, it hasn't finished properly, but it's looking welcome. No gamepad detected. Hold a button on your device to configure it. Let's get some gamepads set up. Hold a button on your device to configure it. Hold a button. It'll be hold a button, won't it? No, that's not working. I wonder, I've got a gamepad off the fake NES mini console. I wonder if that would plug in. I'm sure it's USB. Try that. That's not USB, is it? So I'll have to try something else. This has got USB. Let's try that. Ah, look. It's come up USB gamepad. This might save the day. Okay. Right. Got left and right now. Superb. All games. 17 games it's got on here, it says. Outrun. Cannonball ports. That looks like Outrun at the bottom, doesn't it? Doom. We've got Doom. We'll try Doom. Cannot find BIOS files. Storage ones may not work. Please make sure your copy of the files into correspondent. Close. Game error. Right, let's see if we can get some games put on it. I've created a partition on here called ROMs, and I've copied over some Genesis games. So we'll see if they load up. I'm not sure what the directory structure is supposed to be like. Now it's not loading up. Oh, there we go. Thank God. Come on. Oh, hang on. Error in mount, storage mount. Could not mount label storage. Ah, there was something called storage. There was something called storage on it. I can't remember what it was. I'll have to have another Google. All I've done is relabeled ROMs storage. No. Still coming up, could not mount label storage. Back to the drawing board. Right, so I've installed 3.1 onto the SD card. That's created a 512 meg partition here, and it's left the rest of the SD card unallocated. So we'll see how that changes when I boot it up into emulators for the first time. Oh, it's not going to work because I haven't done the DTB file. Hold on, I hope I've got the right DTB file marked down. Otherwise I'll have to start again and I'll not be happy. I'll pause this boot for the first time. Shut down system. Right, now we'll see what changes it's made on this SD card. So it hasn't made any. I've still only got emulators on F. Now if I open up disk management, I've got emulators on F and I've got another partition here, but it hasn't been assigned a drive letter. I need to work out how to partition this and where to put the ROMs. It looks like emulators is the 512 meg. So I'm going to go to disk management and I'm going to see if I can assign a drive letter. Why can't I give that a drive letter? So I can put my games on here. I think if I delete that, I'm going to end up with a problem. That's what I did last time I deleted this. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to boot this back up with the card in unchanged, and I'm going to see if there's any settings in emulators to do it for me. Right, I wonder if there's something in here. Menu, information. See, user disk. It's got the 56 gig of user disk, but I haven't got the ROMs on. So do I have to partition the card before I flash it with emulators? I might have to do that. I think that's the next thing I'll have to try. Quit. Shut down. So I'll partition this. Well, I kind of do it. Rufus is telling us that the partitions F and G will be destroyed if I click OK. Right, I'm going to try and connect it to the network and load them through the network. Right, I'm going to try and go through the network into emulators, and there should be some ROMs, I think. ROMs. I've already got some ROMs in. What's these? Got some ZX Spectrum. So I'll copy that and I'll go to emulators. ROMs, I'll paste into there. That can't be 39,000 Spectrum games, surely. 1 gigabyte. Right, so I'm copying over some Spectrum ROMs and we'll see how that works. That's going to take a while. It's stuck at 69%. I think I'll switch the system off, reboot it, and see if those games appear in the library. Right, we might be actually in business because I'm on Spectrum and it says 9,765 games. So are these them? There we go. I remember playing this one, the darts program. I don't know why there's 3 different versions of it though. We'll try this one. It looks like Star Wars to me. You have to have a, I wonder if I've got to have a keyboard set up for this. I probably should have picked something that had a gamepad. I've plugged a keyboard in because the Spectrum's got a keyboard. So can I use? Oh, hold on. It's asking us to configure. Why would I want to configure a keyboard? Surely a keyboard's a keyboard. So the Spectrum games didn't work too well, so I'll try a basic NES game. I've put a NES game on through the network. It hasn't came up here, so I'm wondering if I have to restart this emulation stage. So I'll restart that, and it's come up there. Nintendo Mario Brothers. There we go. And I do have some sound. Start. Right, so it's working then. It does work. It's a bit of a... It's been a big pain to get this up to this level, but I am over the moon that it does actually work. I still don't know how to exit the game, but it is working. Controllers are working, the sound works. I don't know why you would want to load 40-odd thousand games onto a console like this. You'd be much better off just loading the ones that you want. So I think this is all working correctly. I did have a problem at the beginning of the video with this AC adapter knocking off the camera. So when I plugged this in and switched it on, the camera went off. I assumed there was a problem with this because it gets plugged in to the same outlet as my camera. But it could have been because I was using this, and it might be because this was plugged in to the USB hub, and sometimes OBS doesn't like it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug this back in and power the system on and give it a test before I put it back together. So if this camera goes off, when I switch this on, we'll know that it's a problem with the power supply. So I'm switching on now. So I'll power it and it's come on. So the initial trouble was down to this and plugged in to the same USB hub as the camera. I'll let that boot up. I'm not going to put 40,000 games on, but I'll put a... As you'll notice there, the audio started cutting out as soon as I powered the system on with the charger. So I'm going back to the conclusion or the idea that this charger is causing some kind of interference, but I can't see how because it's not actually connected up to the USB on the computer, the power strip on the wall. But I think it's interfering somehow. I might crack this open in a later video, or perhaps not in a video, and see if there's any problems with it. But here's the system console running off the power supply, my benchtop power supply, and as you can see, everything is working. We've got Aladdin running here, the SNES version, and if you press start and select again, you'll exit out of the game. That's Mario Brothers, we've seen that. And we have a Mega Drive. I've put Batman on the Mega Drive. There's Batman working. So that's a nice little system. It's been a complete pain to set up from scratch. It would have been easier if there was some kind of electrical fault with it. But that's it. It's a nice system. For $12.99, I can't complain. And I hope you've enjoyed the video. It's been something different. I think I've got about 850 subscribers at the moment, so I'm fast approaching the magical 1,000 figure. So if you like the content, please like and subscribe and help us get to 1,000 subscribers. In the meantime, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you all in the next one.